Hi, friends. I'm Kari Yates.
And I'm Jan Burkins, and we are the co-authors of this little book, Shifting the Balance, How to Bring the Science of Reading into the Balanced Literacy Classroom. And it's all about making shifts to your practice. And we're thinking about shifting this morning, aren't we, Kari?
We've been reflecting on how in the world, when we're taping this, it's like, coming to the end of the first week of February. And how did that happen? Because we haven't learned how to write the new year yet. And, right? I mean,
yes.
I
And we
concentrate on not only the day, but the month and the year still. And yet we came into the new year just ready to go, full of high hopes, good intentions, and some very, I think, worthwhile goals.
Yes. And so here we are a month into the new year, and we're already feeling like we have to just reconnect with those goals in order to keep them in our sights. And so we've really been thinking about, how do you hold on to a big vision for change while you're in the relentless day-to-day of all the demands of your life. And so we have invested in a tool, and it's linked in the blog below. We don't get any, we're not affiliated with Amazon or with the people who make this little tool, but we just are sharing it with you because we are optimistic. We are hopeful that it's going to help us. But it's a goal setting journal, and we love this phrase: hold the vision, trust the process. But what this book has done for us is it has 6 different colors. How about that? 6 shifts. That seems really I don't know, like a fun coincidence. And so you pick 6 areas. I forget what mine are. Something about like family life, work life, physical health, and keeping the house organized and clean. And I don't know, there are 6 of them. But I've been trying to read them. We're trying to connect with our larger vision for our goals pretty frequently, maybe even hasn't been quite daily, but. And then the other tool, Kari, you want to tell them about the other tool?
Though, Jan,
companion tool? What?
I want to go back to the first tool.
Okay.
I mean, I think what you're really loving about that first tool is that it helps you to keep your bigger vision in mind.
That's it.
But also document incremental practice into incremental steps toward that goal. And I think that to me is the big idea to hold on to. Yes, the big vision, but it is still those small, sometimes even tiny daily steps toward a bigger thing. We have this big project, Jan, that we had originally set a goal of having completed by February 1st, and we were a little disappointed to have to adjust that date. And I'll be honest, there's part of me that sometimes is like, well, we're not going to make it. Let's, it's like, we'll probably never make it.
Never going to be done.
Just forget it. But instead, I mean, you've been really good to coach me on just like, so what's the one next step we're going to take to make sure we keep making progress toward it? And I appreciate that. And the other tool that you coached me toward, which I'm loving, is this daily tool. I'll just show you a daily tool, but it just kind of helps me to organize. I can be sort of a fragmented person. And in this age of digital calendars and emails, I find my day is kind of run by sitting down at the computer and looking at things. But in this one, which is also linked, I love that this one helps you keep focus on your big ideas for the day, but also to remember that we're ultimately trying to live lives that are somewhat balanced and full and healthy in a variety of ways. This has like a place to even keep track of like how much water I drank, and not just the to-do list, but kind of some bigger ideas. So
and the 2 are nice. I'm sorry, Kari, go ahead.
Well, yeah, we've been thinking about tools that can kind of help us keep focus, because we realize that January is a big month for us in terms of setting big goals, but the rest of the year we might need some help in terms of not just making progress, but the other thing I think, Jan, is recognizing progress.
Mhm.
Because everybody who might see this, we do a lot in a day that we
Mhm.
don't ever take a moment to recognize, like what we pulled off.
Yes, yes. I think we're all, I imagine everybody who's watching this is guilty of the same thing. And
Yeah.
I think, you know, just to connect this to shifting the balance, that if you read through all of the high leverage routines in this book, it might be a little bit overwhelming, right, Kari?
Yeah, I mean, we recommend that people read the book from beginning to end and
Yes.
understand how all the science is connected and really understand the full breadth and width of those shifts. But you can't do all of that at once. You really are going to have to choose, prioritize what, what action steps, what shifts to practice are most important.
And so there's something there too, in terms of making those shifts, that is this combination of keeping the big vision in mind, kind of like this, while also working through the day-to-day, the details that support this coming to fruition.
And I just want to say, the science is clear on many things, but the connection from science to practice is still messy in many ways. And so that's where I'm thinking about that, trust the process. I mean, nobody can draw out a complete roadmap of exactly what you need to do next in your school. But I think the trick is to find people who can help us hang in there. Jan, you helped me to hang in there, and to keep both looking forward and celebrating some of what we've already done in the past.
You're really sweet about how you're talking about how I help you. It is a two-way street. I should, I mean, I really crashed and burned last night in terms of like holding true to what I want to be my values and my intentions. I think I was not the best mother I could be last night with my son, who I kind of lost it with. So what Kari does for me is she helps me kind of rally and move past my mistakes to kind of learn from them. And so it's good to have a partner in this work.
I think maybe all I really tried to do today, Jan, is to remind you that you are human, and whether it's in our parenting or in our teaching practices, it can be really easy to beat ourselves up for something we did in the past that we look back and realize, oh, I could have done that differently. Of course, we all could have done things differently, but we're all just learners. So here's to the month of February and tools and people who can help you stay productive and clear-minded, so that we all can keep making some forward progress while celebrating the past.
Absolutely. Take care, friends.
Bye.